Hello guys, Adam here from Switch Indie Fix, and I thought I would just bring you a quick roundup video of my experience at Game City Vienna 2018. As you can see in the back, I actually just finished recording the Switch Indie Fix podcast episode 13. If you're interested in that, go check it out on Apple, on iTunes, Spotify, on YouTube. I have some interviews with some of the guys from this weekend from Sikanda game. With Stefan there. There's an interview with him about how his experience bringing the game to Nintendo Switch, how basically the game's development is going, and what his experience with Nintendo has been like so far. That's a cool interview. And there's also an interview with Jan, one of the co-founder of Broken Rules, who they brought us Old Man's Journey to the Switch. So make sure you check out this week's episode of the Switch Indie Fix podcast. So yeah, I just wanted to make like a separate video because some of the games I played weren't indie, and the podcast is mostly about indie games. And as you can see, like this weekend has been kind of hectic. I look tired, but it was really, really fun. So let's just get into what I played. So I went yesterday morning, walked in. First game I saw was a container, or the first thing I saw really was a container with Days Gone kind of plastered all over the side of it. I kind of lined up. There was no one in there. I jumped on the TV and the console and started playing. And I have to say, because this definitely affects like my impression of the game, that it wasn't like a walkthrough demo. It was basically one guy had put the controller down and I picked it up and started playing. So the demo mission you were basically given was that you were almost like in this quarry. And all of the tweakers, or whatever they're called, the zombies are in the middle, and the mission objective said get rid of the zombie horde, and that was basically it. So so started playing. The game looked good, but I think it's like color palette is so green and gray and brown. Like it looked cool because I guess it was running on a PlayStation 4 Pro on like a 4K TV. Like it looked great, but its color palette just kind of made it look a bit dreary. And if you don't know what Days Gone is, because maybe you are really only into Nintendo, it's like a zombie survival game set kind of like in a futuristic environment where you play a character who is like the head of a motorbike club. Yeah, it's different, I guess. So started playing, didn't really know what I was doing. You kind of obviously pick up the traits of definitely Sony games where there's always like some climbing mechanic. There's always like a wheel of choosing your weapons. So kind of picked it up quickly. But my impression after playing the demo was like, I really don't get what this game is for or who this game is for. Like it kind of feels like Sony Ben did a kind of like a game jam, and one of the developers was like, oh cool, look, I managed to make this like fluid system where characters chase after you. Because that's kind of like the crux of the game, and what the selling point of the game is that like it's kind of like World War Z-ish with the zombies, where they just chase you, and it's like they said they can get like 300 zombies on a screen at once, and like that's really impressive technically, but game-wise, it just makes me kind of feel like this game, I don't know, like it's just so overwhelming because whatever I tried doing in the demo to get the zombies away, there was just no chance. Once they saw you, you were dead. Like there was no way to run away. I feel like I had like okay weapons. But yeah, it was basically, okay, try this. No, they see me. Okay, dead. Okay, now I try and do a stealth mode. Yeah, one of them saw me. I'm dead. Okay, now I'm just going to start throwing Molotov cocktails and grenades into the horde. Yeah, I'm dead. So, yeah, it's kind of disappointing, but the news just came out that the game is getting delayed, and I don't know. I just feel like Sony, this game was an idea so long ago, like back in like the PlayStation 3 area, where they were like, oh, you know what's big right now? Zombies. Oh, you know what we have? We have this mechanic where we can fit lots of bodies on the screen. Okay, let's make like a zombie horde game. Okay, yeah. Well, actually now 5 or 6 years later, it's like, well, we have a really, really successful grown-up zombie game, which like Days Gone just looks like it. I don't know. I think maybe what they should have done is done it as like a spin-off of The Last of Us. But like, okay, this is like somewhere else in America or somewhere else in the world where the virus of The Last of Us has affected people differently, and they've not turned them into clickers, they've turned them into these tweakers, and and then have this like contained story within the universe, because right now I just don't see the point of Days Gone. Like it looks great, don't get me wrong, and like I know there's a lot of work gone into it, and I do, as much as I love Nintendo, I also love Sony, but I just can't really see where this game's gonna fit in with the rest of Sony's first party. And I think like if it's a failure, then I think Sony is probably going to be the end of Sony Bend, which is it's sad, but that's just video games, I guess. So after playing Days Gone, I actually went inside to the convention and started lining up for Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. And after about a 10-minute wait, I got onto a console. I decided to play Eevee. I could have played Pikachu or Eevee. I wanted to go with Eevee because that's the game I'm actually going to probably pick up. Definitely pick up. I don't know why I said probably. I'm definitely going to pick up. And the demo it's just a 10-minute demo, and it's the Viridian Forest section of the game. So, it was it's kind of like riding a bike, Pokemon, and I've been playing it all my life. I know Viridian Forest like the back of my hand, and it was really like, okay, here it is. It looked amazing. Like I couldn't believe I was playing a Pokemon game in HD on a TV. And like a lot of the assets, like especially the Pokemon ones, are the assets from Pokemon Go, but they're obviously animated. The animation looks a lot better. The colors look a lot better. It's in HD. So yeah, it was really like, okay, this is kind of like comfort food. I can just jump in. Obviously, the thing that's different is that the Pokemon, there's no random encounters. The grass is still there, but Pokemon are always visible on the map. And which I didn't know is like some Pokemon, they will have like red rings around them or blue rings, which means they're like large Pokemon or smaller ones. The guy showing me the demo didn't really know why that was important, because I guess he only knows the demo. I don't really know why it is, but it was just interesting that maybe they have better stats, kind of like in Pokemon Go. So yeah, that was kind of cool, a cool thing to learn, which I hadn't seen in any of the other demos or any news that I've heard about Pokemon Let's Go yet. I actually I posted this on the kind of funny, what's it called? Facebook group, and I got some questions about it there. So from Claire over at Kind of Funny, the Facebook group, she says, despite only playing 10 minutes, what was your favorite part of the game? So yeah, it was only 10 minutes. I managed to catch a few Pokemon. I managed to have a few battles. The battles are just like any other Pokemon game. You walk into. Actually, now that I think about that, I don't know if, because I always went up to the characters and pressed A and talked to them. I don't know if maybe there's still the eye contact thing. I guess there would be, like that would be a weird thing, because then I guess no one would fight. Yeah, and you go in, the combat starts, you have fight, bag, Pokemon, and run like any other. You have your 4 moves. The only thing different that I noticed was that Eevee, it has this new special move, which is like, I think it's elemental in some way. Like the one I seem to have was like a fire move. So I think they put that in just to make Eevee a bit more accessible as like an early game Pokemon. I also had a team of 6 Pokemon. There was Eevee, Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, I think Pikachu, and Meowth to play with. And what I noticed was that when you get XP, it's like every Pokemon gets XP, and you also get XP from catching Pokemon, which I think is like the main crux of the game, that you're supposed to catch more than you are battle, which is fair enough because it's based, on Pokemon Go. So yeah, those were all the new things I noticed in this short time. And Paul from the Kind of Funny group, he asked, can you explain if there's some training in it? So the training is you catch Pokemon, and there are battles which you fight. I guess you got XP from the battles as well, but I can't remember. There's also the mechanic of like you're supposed to pet your Eevee and Pikachu to get them to become more friendly, which I think unlocks stronger moves. What I have to say, which was like not really that surprising, the gyroscope was like really bad when you were trying to feed Eevee and stroke her. Like, you kind of have, because I played with the Pokeball controller, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But, Eevee's in the middle, which would like here, and I'm like having to hold over here to like get the berry over to her. Like the gyroscope was really bad. With the throwing, it was fine. But when I was talking to the guy that showed me the game, he said, "Oh, you're basically in God mode." He's like, unless you really try and throw the ball away, you're not gonna miss the Pokemon. So I don't know how much that affected the gyroscope. Like I feel like I could have just gone like this, and it would have got the Pokemon. So I don't know how. Like I hope that you can use traditional controllers to play it. Like I hope it's not just dependent on using a single Joy-Con. We were gonna play a bit of 2-player together, but I ran out of time, so I didn't really experience any of that. But it's what I really wanted to know was like, how does the 2-player affect the difficulty in the game? Like if you're playing with a friend in a battle, does the battle get twice as hard? Like does the Pokemon you're fighting get twice as much XP and twice as much damage because he's fighting 2 people? But I didn't have time to ask that. And the actual Pokemon controller itself, obviously you have the the Pokeball controller. You basically have the button is a joystick which you move your character around, and then A is like pressing it in, and then on the red part of the controller, which is here, is your B button. And I think that's all there is, because the rest can be controlled with the gyroscope. Yeah, A is obviously to top, B is to go back. When you want to catch a Pokemon, you have to hold A down, and then you tick your arm back and you kind of throw it like this. So yeah, that's how the Pokeball works. It feels really cool with the HD rumble, like especially when you throw the Pokeball and the Pokemon's fighting against the Pokeball, you can kind of feel it rumbling in your hand. But for me, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be picking one up. Like I already have Mew in Pokemon Go now, so that was like the big sell factor for me with the Pokeball. And yeah, I just think using a Joy-Con or hopefully a Pro Controller would be the optimal way to play. But it's going to be interesting to see how that works with a Joy-Con or a Pro Controller if you still have to use the gyroscope to throw. And the final question was from Cody, and he just says, was it fun? And even though it was only 10 minutes, like I said, it was really like comfort food. Like I know what this is. I've played this so many times before, but it was really interesting to see it look modern, you know, not be on a handheld, be on a TV, be in HD, have like, I can't really explain it, have like new controls, even though I don't really like them that much, but have it be more interactive. And it was really cool as well because everyone was enjoying it. You know, there was like a really nice atmosphere. The guy who showed me it, you know, he was like, "Oh yeah, I've been playing this game for so many years, like since he was a kid." And yeah, he was really excited. And everyone just seemed to have like a buzz around the game, which yeah, was really cool because that's definitely what the feeling I came away with too, was that I'm like really excited to play it. So moving on, at the Nintendo booth, I also played FIFA 19 on a Nintendo Switch. And yeah, it's FIFA. It's what you imagine FIFA to be on the Switch. It was fun. Like I don't know really the ins and outs of FIFA anymore. Like I used to be a huge FIFA fan, but the last 3 years I don't think I've bought it at all. But I think if you want to have FIFA on the go, it's definitely the best way to play it. I played in a game I was France against Germany, absolute hammered Germany. I think 3-0, didn't stand a chance. But I don't know how much of the new mechanics are in the game. Like I know like this year or last year they focused on like strikers. It just felt like a very typical FIFA experience to me. It ran really well on I was playing in handheld mode. It ran really well. It looked like fine, but it looked like an older version of FIFA. Like the player character, the models looked fine. Like looked like who they were, but the actual I guess like the resolution, it looked old fashioned, and I guess that's to be expected when it's playing on in 1020p on a handheld console. But yeah, like I said, it was FIFA. I only played like friendly mode, and yeah, if you want to play FIFA on the Switch, then you should get it. The next one was the new Starlink Battle for Atlus, not Atlantis. Yeah, this was kind of interesting because, again, it was one of those demos where I kind of just jumped on after someone had finished, and I got to play with I had it with the toy, which was cool. Like just seeing the guy pull off the parts and stick ones on. Like it seems very very kind of robust, if you know what I mean. Like there was no worry about, I'm going to break something by pulling it off. It was really like yank it off, stick the other one on, no problem, which I guess is great for kids. The toys themselves I wasn't that impressed with. You know, when I look for figurines, like I always look for like really good molding and coloring, and some of the toys, like what I saw, they just weren't very like they were quite like inconsistent. Like I think I played with Star Fox and like his ship looked really cool, but then some of the weapons kind of looked cheap and yeah, I was kind of expecting him to be a bit higher quality. Like some of the other characters I saw, their character models look really bad. Like where there was like a blue one, like a big blue guy, and it kind of looked like the blue was just all like meshed together, and you couldn't really make out any detail. And like obviously the characters are like this big, so you can't get that much detail on them. But I was kind of hoping for a bit more. Gameplay wise, it was kind of what I was expecting. Like it was really cool to be on a planet, and kind of like in No Man's Sky, you just take off, and then you're in the atmosphere. And then there's like a quick, it's not like a quick travel, like you're still controlling it, but there's like a fast travel to the next point wherever you want to go in space, and then you come back into orbit, and then you're on like a totally new planet. And yeah, the demo, I was playing co-op with one of the Nintendo guys there, the reps, and I think he was from the DC Villains booth, so he didn't really know what he was doing, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I had like a really nice conversation with him. So yeah, I gave him a sticker, so if he did find his way to Twitter or Insta, hello, thanks for showing me Starlink. Yeah, I didn't realize you could play couch co-op on it, so it's like split screen, you both have a ship, and you just work together. Visually, like I don't know if it was because we were in split screen, but I didn't think it looked that good. The art direction was really cool, like kind of like No Man's Sky. The world we were on was really colorful, and there was like really interesting animals, but resolution wise, like it kind of looked blurry, like you're watching a YouTube video and it still needs to buffer in, and this was playing on a TV, so that was a little bit disappointing. But I know Age of Boredom, he picked it up. I think he got the digital version, so I'm excited to see what he thinks of the game. Next on the list was Smash Bros, and like I'm holding my hands up, I'm a total Smash Bros virgin. This was the first time ever I played Smash Bros. I know Darth Sidious is like rolling in his bed somewhere, but yeah, I never ever played it. And I wasn't gonna play it either, to be honest. I was like, I'm not that bothered about playing Smash Bros. But the line was short, and I thought, well, I'm here, I should try it. So I played with two other guys who both looked about 16 years old. First game I went Pikachu, came last. Second game who was it the second game? Zelda. No, not Zelda. Link. Came last again. And yeah, it's Smash Bros, I guess. Like I really had no idea what I was doing. And most of the time when I was playing it, I had no idea what was going on, because there was just so much going on the screen. Like I really don't get Smash Bros, and like that's my problem, like not anyone else's. And you don't need to come at me and be like, man, it's such a great game. Like I know it is, but for my first experience, I was kind of there, like, okay, I just felt like a spectator. But yeah, I know people loved it. There was a lot of people playing it at the convention. I was just lucky that there was like a dip in the line that I managed to jump in and play it myself. Whoever the winner was from the rounds got like a free pin, which I was kind of jealous of, even though I'm not that big of a Smash fan, but you know, I could have sent it to one of you guys who are Smash fans. And then next was the two indie games I played, and the two developers I spoke to, and the first one was ELOH from Broken Rules Games. It's actually a smartphone game. They're kind of well known to me because they brought Old Man's Journey to the Switch, so I was excited to play ELOH. I actually got the opportunity to get to review the game, but I was like, you know, it's not really fair. Like I want to focus on Switch stuff. I don't want to redeem the code. But played it. It's really cool. It's like a what's the word? How did he describe it? Like a musical puzzler. So yeah, you basically start off on the screen, and obviously your screen is like this because it's on a phone. There's like somewhere on the screen will be like an entrance for a ball, and the ball just goes in a line, and then you have characters that are squares, and there's so many tiles on the screen where you can maneuver your character to basically ricochet the ball and get it into a goal. So the first one is really like easy, like the ball will be here, the goal is here. So obviously you need to put your character in the middle, hits your character, goes in the goal. But obviously then the more you play it, the harder the puzzles get, and then there's like obstacles in the way, and further on you come up against like you get new characters that have new abilities and add something different to the experience, so it gets harder. And what's really cool is that each character is like musical, so after a while each character makes a different note, and the balls make notes as well, and when they hit the character it makes a different note. So you basically start creating like this beat, and like I noticed straight away, like my head was like bopping along to it at the end, and it's kind of like almost like beatboxer-ish beats, which is really cool. The art style's beautiful. It's very like much like Old Man's Journey. It's like watercolored, like very pastel-y looking. The characters look cool. Actually, I got a sticker from them, so here's a sticker. This is like the first character you start off with, and the second one, let me look. The second one is here. Well, no, he wasn't second. I actually didn't get that far with him. But I played it, really enjoyed it, and downloaded the game when I got home. So I'm excited to play it on my way to work tomorrow, on Monday. And the second game was Sikanda, which I think I already showed you guys. And they're by Diadic Games, a game studio from Graz, which is Vienna, Austria's second biggest city. Just a two-man team, I think. Stefan and his colleague. I didn't get the colleague's name, so sorry. But I played for quite a while with Stefan on playing Sikanda. They had a demo there running on the Switch. If you want to like check them out, there's all their stuff. Facebook. It's all Diadic Games. They have Facebook, Twitter, and Discord. So yeah, go check those guys out. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil the interview, but basically the game is like heavily influenced by Secret of Mana and Zelda: A Link to the Past. Really colourful, beautiful looking game. A big emphasis on exploration. So if that sounds interesting, make sure you check out the Switch Indie Fix podcast this week, or look on YouTube for the interview, because that will be going up soon there too. And that was all the games I played. Overall, I really enjoyed Game City 2018. I was lucky enough to get a press pass, which is here. Looks pretty cool. And if you notice, like, they've still got the armbands on. I need to cut them off. It was kind of like a smaller convention, but and it's in like a really beautiful setting. Again, if you watch the podcast or the video of mine and Stefan's interview, you can see how like it looks like we're in a cathedral. There were some really cool game devs there and publishers, like Nintendo was there, PlayStation, Xbox, Square Enix. Then there was like Panda 9Kai were there with Dragon Ball Fighter Z at the Nintendo booth, and a lot of like they had the FM4 indie arena, which had 10 indie games lined up. I did the interviews with Broken Rules and Diadic, because those guys were the ones that were which had games on the Switch, and I really wanted to speak to Broken Rules about Old Man's Journey. But there was other like really cool looking ones. Let me just have a look here. So there was 10 games, one including Fear the Game, which is kind of like a horror game, that like an audio horror game, which would look really cool. So people were having to sit down in chairs, put on headphones, and play and watch along. There was also, hang on, I've just got the list here. Let me see. Sorry. So What We Leave Behind, which is kind of like a pixelated indie game about like the last day of Earth, like reliving your last day of Earth, like very artsy, looks really cool. Looks really like with the pixel art. It's based in Japan, I think. There was one called The End Cycle, which is kind of, I think, like a turn-based like strategic game, but it was like one-on-one, like which looked pretty cool. I'm looking at their Twitter now. said it's coming to Steam Early Access. So if you're into that on Steam, then you should go check them out. And yeah, there was a lot of other games. I don't really want to get into them now because I feel like I'm just mumbling. But yeah, check out my social media, Twitter, Instagram. I'm going to be putting up photos of some of the other indie games on there. So yeah. So if you are, I don't know, maybe this gets through tags. If you are Viennese or Austrian and you were at Game City this weekend, let me know what you enjoyed the most. Let me know if you saw me. Or if you got one, you might be one of the lucky people I was handing out my stickers to. I have one here, which I got 100 printed. Probably handed out 80 of them because I kept some for like fans that I know and I want to give to. So if you would like some stickers, just hit me up on Twitter and Instagram or join Discord. So yeah, guys, that was my roundup of Game City 2018. I guess you've noticed I got a new mic, which I recorded interviews with. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.